Another week of college football has come and gone, so it's time to talk about who helped their stock, who hurt their stock. Welcome to the Stock Report. Special thanks to our friends over at Underdog Fantasy. More on them a little bit later, but let's get into this sucker. And of course, we're going to start with one of our watch-along games, being Tennessee versus Georgia. And probably the most talked about player coming out of this weekend is Chris Brazzell II out of Tennessee. Just popped off 6 receptions for 177 yards. 3 touchdowns. He's 6'5", 200 pounds, and he initially started his career at Tulane, redshirted, and then he had a big year with the Green Wave in 2023. Transferred to Tennessee just this past season, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a bit, but he's got an NFL bloodline. His father played wide receiver for Blue College and Angelino State, ended up being selected in the 6th round of the 1998 NFL draft by the New York Jets. Also, his brother Colin is a defensive back on the Volunteers, so that's fun. So he's got a football background, a football pedigree, and what he did this week was just phenomenal. He is tall, he is long strides allow him to beat defenders downfield, but he's got good explosiveness off the line of scrimmage. You could just check out that first touchdown where he cooked the DB almost immediately. The ball was slightly underthrown. We'll talk about Aguilera in a sec, but Brazzell showed great body control, his ability to adjust and attack the ball in air. The hands look really good. You saw that good hand-eye coordination. I think it was on the 2nd touchdown in the back of the end zone. And he's just able to snap it or snatch it away from the defender's grasp. You could see that on the 3rd touchdown. Now, I need to get back. I need to get into his 2024 tape, and I might just take a quick dive into it because the analytics weren't great. Wasn't used a ton, but I mean, there was a ton of receivers there last season for Tennessee. But I think just continuing this consistency in SEC play will do a world of good for his stock, and maybe we'll have someone that can compete with Jordan Tyson for wide receiver 1. Is, as you saw in my mock draft, I talked about it. I don't see that guy just yet. Brazzell, though, love the build. If he continues to rip off big games, then yeah, we could be talking about another wide receiver in the 1st round. Do want to mention Joey Aguilera. He is who you probably thought he is. He is a feisty quarterback from App State that is going to sling it around, and he will die on his own sword. He will take those deep field shots. Doesn't have the biggest arm in the world. It's a fine enough arm, but there was some good, there was some bad. But I think we're probably talking about a potentially draftable prospect in Aguilera. I will say I came away from this game with Miles Kitselman, the tight end for Tennessee, because I have him down as a blocking tight end. The pass catching starting to come alive for him. Watch out. And then, of course, Wendell Moe, who was a guard I really liked coming into this season. The pass protection was phenomenal. The run blocking still needs to be better, but I think Moe looked very good as a pass protector against a very quality Georgia defensive line. And then flipping to the Georgia side of things, Monroe Freeling, the left tackle, I thought had himself a day. 6'7", 315, former 4-star recruit from the 2023 recruiting class. Last year, he was on my watch list. I decided not to watch him because he didn't really become a full-time starter until the final 5 games of last year. And he split time between right tackle and left tackle. And I was like, okay, well, let's just watch him during the 2025 season and we'll move him accordingly. Well, I think at the very least, we were probably talking about a day 2 guy. He had a great game. He's 6'7", 315. Don't remember if I mentioned that. But he looks like a jumbo tight end. He carries his weight exceptionally well. Gives me that Bernard Ryman vibe. Another guy who was a former tight end before adding mass and moving to tackle. Freeland moves exceptionally well. He's explosive off the snap. He gets out in front of screens and stretch plays very quickly. He plays like a dog on top of things, like a bulldog. He is physical. He keeps the feet moving in the run game. He showed a good feel for pressure on, I believe it was the opening drive for Georgia. It was in the first quarter, but he was able to pick up the late blitzer, which led to a big throw downfield to Kobe Young, who also had a solid game. He held up very well versus Joshua Josephs and Tyree West, who I just added to my draft guide. No eval on him yet, but I added him because he had a good game. Literally, everything was falling apart over at right tackle as Ernest Green didn't look good. They moved the right guard over to right tackle, and it wasn't great. They were finding consistency on that left side of the offensive line. Now, being a taller guy, he can get out leveraged, but he's got a strong core. He does a good job of just avoiding waist bending, which is kind of a big thing. My biggest, probably the thing I didn't like the most, overextends a ton. He's a lunger in the run game. He'll lean into defenders and pass pro. You could go to the strip sack of Gunnar Stockton. He overextended on Joshua Josephs, and Josephs was just able to kind of shed him to the side and get in and force that fumble. So there are some things to clean up. This is his first year as a full-time starter, but I was very encouraged with what I saw. Oh, I said allowed a pressure and no sacks. No, that should be a sack. So, yeah. Okay, overlays wrong. I think there's a sack there because there was the strip sack. I do want to give a shout out to the linebacking core for Georgia. CJ Allen was very good in this game. He made a splash play in coverage with a good pass deflection. And Raylan Wilson was just hitting hard. A very formidable linebacker duo there for the Bulldogs. We love the NFL draft, and now my draft guide is available for purchase. It comes with over 500 player backgrounds and close to 300 player evals. It updates throughout the whole draft cycle. So when I add a new eval or I change my rankings, you're going to be the first to know. It's going to have all the pro day and combine numbers along with analytics, and it's a Google spreadsheet for right now. So you have to include your email with the purchase, but we will be switching over to a website at the end of the year. And if you get it now, it's going to be cheaper now than it will be later. It's a great way to support the channel. And as always, much appreciated, much obliged. But the next player I have on this list was a part of our other watch-along game, Notre Dame versus Texas A&M, and it's Eli Raridon out of Notre Dame. He is the tight end there. He is 6'7", 251 pounds, and this wasn't someone that I watched over the summer. He was on my watch list. I didn't think there was enough production there to really go back and watch him. I was like, I'd rather just watch him over the course of the year. Alex from Hail Mary Sports, he did, and he was raving about this guy to me. And I texted him just yesterday. I think I'm in on Raridon. So he's a former four-star recruit from the 2022 recruiting class. His father played offensive line for Notre Dame. And unfortunately, his freshman season, Raridon, he tore his ACL. It was kind of a slow burn coming back in 2023. Mitchell Evans ended up having the ACL injury that same year. So in 2024, this last year, he was able to get a few starts as Mitchell Evans kind of came back slowly. But this year, man, he has really popped off, I think. First off, phenomenal blocker. I mean, I love the build. He's tall, he's jacked, he's long, carries his weight very nicely. Really good run blocker, especially in motion, can actually create movement and clear lanes. He just gets after it when he's in line, and he has the movement skills to go down the field and be a second level blocker. There was this rep against Cassius Howe where Howe was able to get under him, because keep in mind, he's 6'7", so getting a leverage on him might not always be that hard. But Howe was able to get under him and actually move him to the point where he almost got to the running back, but Raridon was able to recover and kind of shield, I think it was Jeremiah Love, shield Love from Howe. So I like that he was able to kind of bounce back from that. He did a good job of creating a rush lane on the final touchdown with Jeremiah Love. You just kind of see him seal out the, I think it was the slot defender, and create that rushing lane for Love just to accelerate and go. He's sturdy. He can hold the point of attack. As a receiver, I think he's coming along. Like, he's a fine enough route runner right now, but he's coming to his own as a pass catcher. I think this is their second game in a row where they kind of ran the chip and slip play, and he was able to get downfield with no one around him and rip it off for a big gain. He did that against Miami, and they did it again here against A&M. But yeah, be on the look for him because, man, I think this tight end class is starting to come around. But let me give a shout out to a few guys on the Notre Dame side of things. Malachi Fields was physical, looked good. I liked how he played. Christian Gray, your return to school. He was picked on compared to Leonard Moore. He was a big reason why that game-winning drive for A&M got extended because he had the defensive holding call. It was atrocious. He needs to work out a lot of stuff in his game. You got, what is it, Drake Bowen, the linebacker, who I think made it in my top 10 over the summer. He was everywhere on the field. He had a crushing hit on, I think it was Marcus Carver, the wide receiver. Unfortunately, he does end up allowing the go-ahead touchdown for A&M to the tight end, but I thought it was well defended. But Bowen, he was everywhere, man. He looked great. And then to jump to the Texas A&M side of things, let's talk about Will Lee III. He's 6'1", 191 pounds. He's the corner there. He's their star corner, coming off a very good year last year. Probably could have been a day 2 pick if he decided to come out last season. Didn't have the best game here. He allowed 6 receptions on 9 targets for 102 yards. But I will say he did prevent a touchdown to Malachi Fields. And that's the thing, man. He was physical all night, and he won some and he lost some. Again, there was a really good red zone rep against Malachi Fields, but then you skip a few drives later, and he's trying to press Fields. Like, he literally goes all the way in, and Fields is able to be like, well, dude, I'm like 6'4", 220. I don't feel a thing. I'm going to slip around you and get hit on the fade. Problem was, that was a 3rd and 13. Didn't love that. They played some cover 2 occasionally, and I just felt like he was a tick late to anticipate and got caught sometimes on outbreaking routes. So there's some things to work on. I think ideally he's just a better press corner than he is in off coverage zone. But I have him as like a down stock because if you were considering him a first round pick, which I was never really there, I kind of see him more as like a second round pick. And I think that still applies. I think he's still a hell of a good corner. But yeah, if you were seeing him as a first rounder, I just don't think that's the case. I do want to give a shout out to Cassius Howe. I know his numbers might not reflect like, only 1 pressure, but he was getting after it. He also played like 13 coverage snaps. He had the nasty pass breakup where he goes up and just kind of swats it down. I think he knocked the wind out of himself on that play, but dude's a first rounder, man. I love Howe. Le'Veon Moss, some people will have him as a top run back in this class. I'm not there with it. I don't think I think he's a home run threat, but he really struggled to break tackles. People will look, 3 touchdowns. They all came within like 2 yards of the goal line. The offensive line was on the struggle bus all night for Texas A&M. They were either losing passing reps or they were committing penalties. Golly, so many penalties. The right tackle, Crownover, I believe his name is, struggled. I think he committed like 4 penalties by himself on Saturday night. Before we move on, I got to give a shout out to our friends over at Underdog Fantasy. When you download the app, sign up with promo code BROSHMO. They will match that first deposit up to $1,000 dues, and they got promos each and every day, whether if you like playing weekly best ball or my favorite, higher or lower on player stats. They got you covered. It's the best way to play. And if you do, play responsibly, play within your means. And if you do download, it's promo code BROSHMO. But let's get back to the video. But let's go to earlier Saturday, talk about Alabama, Wisconsin, and Bray Hubbard, the safety there for Bama. He's 6'2", 208 pounds. He had 2 interceptions along with 3 defensive stops, which again, that stop metric is a PFF metric. It's like tackle for loss, but they also include plays resulting in no gain. He had 6 tackles, only allowed a reception for 8 yards on 5 targets. He was all over the place. He had a phenomenal day. And just to kind of give you a refresher on Hubbard, he's got good size, big motor, plays kind of with the chip on his shoulder, very explosive when coming downhill to play the run. He kind of gives you box safety vibes because the long speed's pretty mediocre with him, but he showed the ability last year to make plays in coverage. He had 2 pass breakups and 3 interceptions last year, and he's kind of starting it's rinse and repeat. 2 interceptions this game. He was playing more of a deep safety role, though. Occasionally he would kind of come down and play the star role for in this game. I think he moves better now downfield or deep downfield when he is playing deep, but still the speed is only okay in my opinion. His first interception was really nice, man. He baited the quarterback in on the out route where Hubbard came down. He was playing the running back possibly out of the backfield, saw that the defender or the pass catcher was going in on out route, and just kind of waited and put his hands up and made the interception. The second interception was just like, okay, it shows you how physical this guy is, where the tight end struggled to separate at the break. And without missing a beat, Hubbard, eyes on the quarterback, makes the play that the pass catcher should have made. Basically running the rest of the route for the pass catcher. It was nice. Gojo, apparently, he loved it as well. He had a great hustle play coming from across the field to make a tackle on a screen. There was the wide receiver sweep where he just navigated traffic really well, came in, made the play. The dude just plays the run hella good. There are times where he comes in a little too hot and can occasionally slip off tackles. And I'm not saying he's like a center fielder. That's not him. That's not who he is. But he might be a bit more than just a box-only safety in the NFL. Next on the list is Mark Fletcher Jr., running back out of the U, Miami. And he is large. He is 6'2". He is 225 pounds. He had a phenomenal game against South Florida, 16 carries for 121 yards, 2 touchdowns, also added 2 receptions for 25 yards. I decided not to watch him over the summer because just his analytics weren't that good last year. The forced missed tackle rate wasn't that great. The fumbles per carry were nuts. I mean, he had 3 fumbles, so the fumbles per carry were kind of ludicrous. And it seems to me he's at least cleaned up a good majority of that because he's got a powerful build. He can lower the shoulder and move the feet, keeps the feet moving through contact, but he's got some shiftiness, whether it's behind the line of scrimmage or in the open field. And I'm not saying like he's like this dynamic athlete, but I think it's solid for his size. A strong lower body just makes him a bit of a struggle to bring down. He's a very decisive runner. He's not going to waste time going east or west. Now, the vision's still coming together. I think there were some plays in this game where I wish he took some of those cutback opportunities. But I mean, in a running back class where it's like, okay, we got like a top 4 or 5, but who are the rest of these guys in this class? Who's going to emerge? I think Fletcher is becoming that guy. He's bigger, so not as nimble between the tackles as maybe you want, but I mean, he's a bigger back. Who the heck really cares? But hey, I'm always happy to talk about one of my Miami boys on this list. I briefly want to talk about Carson Beck because he's been on fire. I know he had 2 interceptions in this game. I'd argue only one was really his fault, but his completion rate in this game, 82.1%. Carson Beck's looking more like the player people expected him to be last year rather than the gutsy gunslinger whose decision-making fell off a cliff last year. He's just been so much better. So we're going to stay at running back, and we're going to go talk about the backyard brawl, Pittsburgh versus West Virginia, because West Virginia's Tye Edwards had himself a day. He's large, right? 6'2", 225 pounds. He's filling in for Jaheim White, who unfortunately had a season-ending, I believe it was a knee injury. Not sure off the top of my head. But he had a game, man. 25 carries, 141 yards, 3 touchdowns. I was like, okay, let's go dig into this guy. And found out, hey, this is going to be a knock against him. He's an older prospect. He's a former 3-star recruit from the 2019 recruiting class. He played running back and linebacker in high school, also played basketball. He initially committed to Florida Atlantic before being ruled academically ineligible. So he ends up going to Georgia Military Academy, has a good year, transfers to Hutchinson Community College, where he played exceptionally well the next 2 years to be a 3-star JUCO recruit. He ends up transferring to UTSA. Doesn't really see a lot of playing time, only played in 3 games. Transfers again to Northern Iowa, where he had a very impressive final season there. He was always a part of the rotation there at Northern Iowa, but he was never like the guy. He was not necessarily the Batman to someone's Robin, but I guess you could say the Superman to someone's Batman. And now stepping up in a big way, in a big role. And what I saw in this game is, again, first, large guy, kind of big, he's jacked, and he runs with violence. He's deceptive with his shoulders when approaching the line of scrimmage, so you kind of feel a little shiftiness with him. And he can stop on a dime and explode off that plant foot. That's well apparent on his first touchdown of the game. The long speed is kind of whatever. It's what you would expect from a bigger back. And he's tough in pass pro, often going for the kill shot. But even when the kill shot doesn't necessarily work, he's able to stay on his feet and stay with the play in pass pro. So there's a lot of positives. I think he's going to be 25 at the beginning of his rookie year. So again, an older back, but I really liked what I saw against Pittsburgh, who had a solid defense. And we're going to return to the tight end position with Kenyon Sadiq out of Oregon. He's 6'3", 245 pounds. And I know you look at the stat sheet, 2 receptions for 35 yards and a touchdown. Okay. But that touchdown was heck of impressive. It really was. He's just too much. The athleticism is a tough assignment for a safety, let alone a linebacker, and that was very, very apparent. I do wish he was more. Maybe we'll see him get utilized a bit more in the offense, as it just, I guess Oregon, that hasn't really been threatened this year, so they're just kind of passing it around. I would really like to see them give it to him short so he could show off that after the catch ability, because it's there. We saw it last season. But he's a phenomenal athlete, and I think what really stood out in this game was his ability as a blocker. Was it perfect? No, it really wasn't. I would say sometimes he overextends in line and just kind of gets thrown to the side for instant penetration. But he's feisty. He'll stick with it. He's really good on the move, whereas a second level blocker. And I think he's kind of starting to cement himself as tight end 1 in this class. But I do want to stick with this game and actually go to the other side of the ball with Caleb Tiernan, the left tackle there in Northwestern. He's 6'7", 320 pounds. He allowed no pressures and no sacks on 28 pass attempts versus Oregon. He was just great. He eats up space so well. He's just able to consistently square up with the defender in pass pro, and he's facing a pretty solid group here. I mean, hey, let's give a shout out to Mateo Uiagalelei, edge there for Oregon, who is starting to develop as a pass rusher and could get into that first round conversation. But when it comes to Tiernan, I loved what he did as a run blocker in this game. I think it was apparent on the long touchdown score late in the game for Northwestern. He's just an aggressive downhill blocker who keeps moving his feet in the run game. Does he end up sticking at tackle will be the question, because I've heard, at least I've seen some of the verified measurements, that he will have suboptimal length. So you might end up playing him at guard in the NFL. 6'7" is tall for a guard. It just makes me a little bit worried in a climate where quarterbacks are getting shorter and shorter. But I do love Tiernan. I think I had him as a top 50 fringe first round pick to start the year. I just think he's a really good offensive lineman. I just don't know where he ends up playing in the NFL right now. And then we're going to wrap up this list on a downer, unfortunately. That's right. Cade Klubnik, quarterback out of Clemson, 6'1", 204. He was my QB1 entering the season. He was QB1 for a few folks, and I think a lot of that had to do with, he's probably the highest floor quarterback in this class. And through 3 games, I think that floor keeps getting lower and lower, unfortunately. He was kind of the only reason Clemson was in this game versus Georgia Tech. I mean, they had some breaks go their way, but he went 15 of 26 for 207 yards, had a touchdown, also had an interception. We'll talk about the interception. Ran it 62 times, but he had like 2 fumbles on the day. Did have a touchdown, but all right, the interception. It was a predetermined read, and I think that's by design, because you only had 3 pass catchers going out for passes. Georgia Tech was showing blitz, and they brought blitz, and Klubnik forced it to his receiver that's kind of on the short slant route. And I mean, the receiver was stuffed pretty well, but I get giving him a shot. Maybe you want to put it a little bit higher in a way, because what happened is Klubnik misses the underneath defender, who's just kind of waiting and anticipating that in-breaking route. And all he did was put his hands up and make the play, make the interception. However, on top of that, I was looking at what he was doing downfield, because, I mean, shoot, he was a really good downfield passer last year. So he goes 1 for 3 on passes of 20 plus yards or more. So didn't really attack downfield a ton. On those plays, there was one, the completion was phenomenal. I mean, let me just read you what I wrote here on that. So with pressure in his face, he layers the ball between 2 defenders to Sapp, who's on a corner route, maybe a post corner route. Phenomenal. That first throw of 20 plus yards, that ended up being an incompletion. He was late. He overthrows an open tight end in the middle of the field. Woof. The second one, or at least the final attempt, you could put this on miscommunication, but at the end of the day, I think Klubnik should have recognized, going over the top is way more dangerous. So he has this tight end who's going up the seams, and it looks like he has the option of continuing up the seams or sitting on the route. The tight end made the call to sit on the route, which was the right call. There was no one around him. You could have just dumped that off for like an easy 20-yard play. Klubnik throws it deep. I think Klubnik should have recognized that. I get why some people were hesitant to have him as a first rounder at the beginning of the year, which, to be fair, you didn't see a lot of people have that notion, but there was some rumbles that the NFL wasn't nearly as high on Klubnik as the draft community, and it's showing. It's just showing, man. Klubnik, I don't think you could take him to the first round at this point. You can't. And I just became a Cade Klubnik truther after being a Klubnik denier for the better part of 2 years. I turned the corner on him. This is how you treat me? The fumbles were ugly, by the way. Yes, they were. I do want to give a couple of shout outs when it comes to this quarterback class. Taylor Green, man. I think he's putting it together at the right time. They may have lost that Ole Miss game, but it was a hell of a fun game. Let me just bring up his stats, his analytics real quick, as he's not just doing it with his feet. I think he's really developed into a passer, and it may not have been the most pretty game against Ole Miss, but he kept them in it, going for a 72.7% adjusted completion rate. I thought very solid. Did have a couple of turnover-worthy plays, but on the year, at the 11 touchdowns, two interceptions, he's playing good football. What's his rushing yards looking like this year? 315. Woo-hoo. Yeah, can do it with his feet. So someone who is built great, big arm, starting to put it together. Definitely someone to watch out for. Lenore Sellers, depending on how long he's out for, sounds like a concussion. Might end up returning, because let's be honest, it hasn't been wonderful to start the year for him. So maybe a little more significant snaps under his belt, some more starts under his belt. I mean, that would do anyone good. But on a side note, don't look now. Ty Simpson might be a legit prospect in this class. I know he's only thrown for he threw for 4 touchdowns in this last game. Completion rate of 89.7%. Adjusted completion rate, by the way. That's ludicrous. 9 touchdowns on the year. Only 1 turnover-worthy play. No interceptions. Completion rate above 80%. And, I mean, okay, let's be fair. Let's take a look at him under pressure. It's not so great. That's where the turnover-worthy plays came. The completion rate drops to 63.2%. But as a clean pocket passer, he's kind of legit. So don't look now. Ty Simpson, legit prospect in this class. But that's it for the video. Go ahead. Let me know what you think. What prospects stood out to you this past weekend? We are going to be streaming all day long on Saturday. 3 different games, and we're going to be raising money to defeat heart disease for children. It's a cause close to my heart, so join us for that. But as always, until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.